Good evening and happy Easter to everyone joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. And in honor of the Easter holiday weekend, Boulevard Lake Dam has brightened up the night sky with some Easter colors. Residents traveling down Cumberland Street will be able to see the pink and yellow lights replacing the usual white lights. The lights were the final piece of the $8.5 million dam rehabilitation project, which wrapped up late fall. Starting Tuesday, the lights will return to white, but the city is telling residents to stay tuned for different color presets during future holidays. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization has released a 5-year implementation plan regarding their proposed multi-billion-dollar nuclear waste repository. The NWMO has just 2 potential locations to house the underground facility, including one near Ignace. Vasilios Bello reports.
The chosen location would have a repository that can store nearly 5.5 million spent nuclear fuel bundles from across Canada. The massive project has been in the works for nearly 2 decades, with a preferred location planned to be decided late in 2023. With Ignace being a possible site, it has sparked lengthy discussions surrounding the safety of transporting and storing these highly radioactive bundles. The Nuclear Waste Management Organization's new implementation plan addresses this, with Vice President Lise Morton saying the standards are significant.
We need to be able to demonstrate to a regulator, in this case to the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada, that the site has a strong safety case. So in other words, we're going to have to be able to demonstrate various parameters of both the geology, the geoscience, to be able to demonstrate that that rock can safely contain the fuel.
Another portion of the NWMO's implementation plan talked about the importance of consultation. This has been a massive talking point for the Ignace site, as the project would affect the township as well as the nearby Wabigoon Lake First Nation. Morton went on to say that the final decision is ultimately the community's.
We're confident that we're engaging with the community, that we're trying to answer their questions, and we certainly welcome all of the diversity of views on the project and try to provide the information and answer people's questions so that the community members can make their own decision as to whether the project is a good fit for the community.
The project has sparked interest and opposition not only from Ignace and Wabigoon Lake First Nation, but other communities including Dryden and Thunder Bay, as the transportation of nuclear fuel bundles would happen across northwestern Ontario.
We're also going to be assessing transportation in the area and whether we can develop a safe and socially acceptable transportation plan to both of the locations.
Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Municipal election season is about to officially launch in Thunder Bay, and the first event for people thinking about putting their name forward will take place this Wednesday evening at a candidate information session. The election will be held on October 24th, and the nomination period begins on May 2nd. The candidate information session is to help potential candidates better understand what the municipal election will look like. It will be taking place at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. on April 20th, with opportunities to watch it online for those who cannot attend in person. City Clerk Krista Power is also the municipal election officer, and she explains more about what to expect.
So we're going to review all of the information about becoming a candidate, what it means, what the rules are, provide some information, and the Municipal Affairs and Housing representatives will be here as well, as again the province sets the legislation for the election. We're encouraging folks to come out if you potentially have an interest in running, or if you're just interested in learning more about the electoral process. Again, we just encourage folks to come out.
Interested in attending the in-person will have to reserve a spot by calling the City Clerk's office. Thunder Bay Superior North MP Patty Haidu met with members of the Northwestern Electric Vehicle Association this past week to highlight the federal budget's investment in that sector. In the budget announced April 7th, Ottawa is promising to spend more than $3 billion to make zero-emission vehicles more affordable while building a national network of charging stations. The investment looks to build on the many auto sector announcements made recently that will help create thousands of jobs and make Canada a global leader in the vehicles of the future. Manitouwadge resident Jim Moffitt bought his own charging station, which he says will serve as the first in his small community, and he hopes to see them pop up around the region.
It's to the point where if there's people in as tourists, we actually welcome them to our home so that they can charge. So this is something that we definitely need in the community.
Standardizing EV charging stations, maybe something that won't happen right away, but making sure that we have some ability for people, no matter what kind of vehicle that they're driving, to have charging stations as they drive across the country on routes like Highway 1117 or other major roadways.
Haidu says a new program will also be announced in the coming weeks, which will focus on supports for small and medium-sized businesses to renew their fleet with electric vehicles in order to reduce emissions around the country. After 2.5 years without a youth program due to the pandemic, the Thunder Bay Police Service recently hosted an archery program at the Kinsmen Centre in Northwood. It gave youth a chance to speak with police out of uniform while having some fun learning a new skill. 6 officers of the Community-Oriented Response and Engagement Unit, who are trained as instructors of the National Archery in the Schools program, worked one-on-one with the youth. They all received a demonstration on how to draw and shoot a bow, followed by some target practice. The program not only serves as a great way for kids to make friends while hitting some bullseyes, but also acts as a recruitment initiative for the police, showing what the service is about in order to attract youth to potentially follow that career path in the future. Police Constable and Instructor Ian West says most importantly, this program hopes to open up a dialogue between police and the youth.
We want to really meet those youth at an early age to try to build a relationship with them and teach them some self-discipline, patience, have some fun with them. They see us outside of uniform. We have a great time doing some archery. We have games, a little bit of competition, joking around. And you see right off the hop, the first time they hit that target, you know, their faces light up because they've hit the target, even if it wasn't right even in the bullseye.
The police service will be running similar hour-long programs through a variety of organizations going forward, including once a week at the Boys and Girls Club over the next few weeks. Thunder Bay has received a large amount of snow this winter, and while it's been very frustrating for most residents, the cross-country ski areas around the city have been thriving. Jessica Clement stopped by Lappe Ski Centre and Kamview Nordic area to talk about their successful skiing season.
The abundant amount of snow Thunder Bay has received has made it possible for the cross-country ski areas to stay open despite it being mid-April. And the snow, in combination with the warming weather, have made the conditions perfect for the skiers. Tuyo Puiris, owner of Lappe Ski Centre, is glad for the successful season, but says there have been some challenges along the way.
It's been challenging but successful. Lots of skiers, I find people have enjoyed it, but also the conditions have been very harsh. We had very cold conditions, and then the next day a snowstorm, and then back into the deep freeze. So people have been very hardy, and they've been skiing a lot.
The ski area is usually open until the second week of April and has already hosted their final event of the season, but Puiris says that depending on the weather, they may be open until the end of the month. And the regular skiers are pretty happy about that.
It's definitely unexpected, but no complaints from me. I mean, the longer the season, the better, in my opinion. It's been great to have everyone out here. So.
Oh, it's great. Perfect conditions out here again today. If we're gonna not have spring, might as well have skiing.
Meanwhile, Kamview Nordic Centre is also looking to stay open for another week. And while that's great news for the skiers, manager Dave Suddy says that grooming the paths will get more difficult the warmer it gets.
Ideally, you want to groom when it's below zero. So if we start getting nights that are going to be on the plus side, like +1, +2, +3, there's not a lot that we can really do on the grooming because the equipment sinks into the ground and it just doesn't do quite as nice of a job.
Regardless, the regulars at Kamview are making the most out of the snow.
It's just an extra treat this year because normally this time of year everything's all muddy, and spring in Thunder Bay isn't usually a very nice season. So
yeah, it's great. Might as well use it while the snow is on the ground, and trails I'm sure are pretty good. I haven't been out for a few days, but why not use it when the snow's there?
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
And continuing with skiers, they had some trouble keeping themselves dry on Saturday as Loch Lomond held their annual Slush Cup. Despite the cold weather, dozens of skiers and snowboarders attempt the Slush Cup jump, with some even attempting the jump multiple times. And while many participants were able to make it across without getting drenched, others weren't as lucky. Numerous jumpers dressed up in hopes of winning the prize for best costume, and prizes were also handed out for best tricks. Those who weren't able to head out on Saturday will still get a chance to enjoy the slopes, as the hill plans to have a free ski day on Monday. After that, General Manager Jason Gary says that they plan to stay open as long as the snow keeps falling.
I don't know what we have yet for plans for continuing on in the season, but it looks like there's more snow in the forecast. So as long as the snow keeps coming and people keep coming out, which they are, we'll keep running.
Now joined by sports anchor Kurt Black. Now the snow continuing to make its way back to Thunder Bay, but also making their way back is the Kings.
Yeah, after a very impressive season in the GTHL, we had some Kings hockey as they were trying to punch their ticket into the next round of the TELUS Cup. We'll have those highlights right after the break.